Hey, Gratitude Seeker. This episode is especially for women, but that doesn't mean that if you're a man, you can't listen to it, because it's quite interesting as well for us men. It's called Gratitude Buffers, the Adverse Effects of Viewing the Thin Ideal on Body Satisfaction. It's a US-based study by Kristen J. Holman, Brittany L. Sedlak, Elizabeth A. Boyd. I really believe that it's a pity that we in general think about ourselves like we're not good enough, we're not good looking enough, we're not thin enough, we're not, rich enough. And it's a pity because we fail to recognize what's great about us. And when we don't recognize that, it's harder for us to express that, because if we see ourselves as not being good enough one way or another, we tend to act like we're not good enough, And I think this study is pretty great. It focuses on the fact that we in the media, especially, we see thin models, we see perfect shapes, and we as humans, we tend to compare. And when we see something that's so perfect, we think about all of our flaws. And this works not just for thin or fat or the body mass, but in all domains of life. Like when we see someone that seems to have it better than us, we think that we think worse about ourselves. But getting back to this study, it's quite interesting what they did. They wanted to explore whether the psychological benefits of gratitude extend to the body image. 67 female undergraduates completed 3 sessions 1 week apart, and the results showed that body dissatisfaction scores were lower for women who engaged in a brief period of grateful contemplation before viewing photographs of thin models compared to women who reflected upon life hassles before viewing the same photographs. Another interesting find is that the magnitude of this decrease depended on the body mass index. So it's clear enough that when we see thin models or, rich people, we tend to compare them with ourselves. And depending on how thin we are, on how rich we are, we feel better or worse about this. But the study shows that if we contemplate gratitude, if we are grateful before doing this, if we appreciate ourselves, the things in our life, it's much easier to create a buffer, to have the effects of these kinds of exposures be less strong on us. And I believe this is quite important, because the way we see ourselves is the way we ultimately get to behave. And the fact that we behave in a certain way gets us certain types of results. Like if you are a woman and you feel that you're imperfect, that you feel a bit overweight or something like this, the fact that you see yourself like that and you focus so much on that problem, you might tend to do the same, to eat food that isn't good for you, that is going to contribute to either keeping you a bit overweight or getting you to be even more overweight, or just at the way you view yourself. Like when you view yourself as being overweight and you see thinner women with the kind of man you would like to have, you might think that that's not for you, that you don't deserve that kind of man, that kind of relationship, and it's really not good for you. So appreciating our life and ourselves is quite important, especially when it comes to creating a balance between what we see, the fact that we are bombarded with commercials and all kinds of exposure that makes us feel that we're not good enough, to appreciate the beautiful things that we have. The fact that we might have a beautiful smile, or that we might have a great sense of humor. And I'm sure that you know people that, let's say, particularly in this case, a woman that even though she might be a bit overweight or even more overweight, the fact that she has a great personality, the fact that she appreciates and loves herself one way or another, she is lovable. You know, you admire her and you like her. And this doesn't happen in the case of people that focus on the fact that they're not as thin, they're not as good looking as the icons we see in the media. But let's do something right now. Are you with me? I want you to think about three qualities that are physical, and three qualities that relate to your personality. So, what are the three things that you can appreciate about yourself when it comes to your body? Do you like your eyes? Do you like your hair? Do you like your smile? What are those three things that you really, really love about yourself? And if you find it harder to really, really love them, it's okay. Just think about three things that maybe other people have told you. Maybe they told you that you have, a great smile or beautiful skin or something like this. These usually get into the back of our mind when we focus so much on what's not okay with us. So really, I want you to think about these and also write them down. Just say, I am, or I have beautiful eyes. I am gorgeous, or you get the idea. But I want you to do the same with your personality qualities. You may be fun, you may be outgoing, or you may be very organized, or just think about the three personality traits that you appreciate about yourself. Or if that's harder to do, think about what other people appreciate about you. And also make sure that you write them down. And like before, you write them like this. I am, or I have a great sense of humor, or I am fun. And just for today, identify yourself with these qualities. Because we identify ourselves with all kinds of things, usually not positive. And just think about the fact, when you think about yourself, think about a fun-loving person, or person that has beautiful hair, and just play with it and see what happens. So just for today, do this and see how you feel about yourself, how you feel about other people, about the world. And if you enjoy it, you might want to do this tomorrow as well, and the day after tomorrow as well. And it might actually become a great habit and a new way of seeing yourself. That's it for today. I'd be really curious to hear from you how it made you feel, if something else happened in the process or after the process. I'm really curious, and I'm really open to reading about your experience. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you will have an amazing day.